Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Game FourCast. This is week 42. I say that out loud because it's only just kind of recently hit me how we've been doing this for a really kind of long time now, right? I'm kind of... It's impressive.
I keep doing that. I keep thinking like, man, it's going to be funny when we get to a year, and that's like next month.
It's not that far. We did it like after Christmas, didn't we? Like when we started it. So, but yeah, welcome back. Another week. We're going to get together and talk about what we played this week and all the new game stories that we found interesting. My name is Josh, aka BottlerWorks, and I'm here with Olivemeister Will.
Hello, my name is Olivemeister and/or Will.
And Quikwix Steve.
Hi, my name is Steve, and it's November, so hide your nuts as they are coming to take them away.
And Sammeh.
Hi, I'm Sam.
You kind of blew your one there, Steve, with the in the middle. Like,
No.
I thought it was a good
coming
pause.
joke.
That was part of the joke.
Yeah, it was part of the joke.
Okay, I'll let you get
nuts coming.
I'll let you get one.
Oh
Yeah,
God!
just let him get it out, and then he can be quiet for a bit. Actually, you know what? We'll start with you today, Steve. What have you been playing this week?
Well, not this week, but I have been playing JackBox games.
Okay,
more specifically, JackBox 9.
I was going to say, is there like a specific one I should be looking for?
Yeah, JackBox 9 recently came out in October. I played it 2 weeks ago, and then I'm probably going to be playing some more of it this Friday when I have another Discord's game night. But yeah, the JackBox games are very fun. I'm surprised that not everyone knows about them because it's just like the party game.
I was going to say, these are party games, aren't they?
Yes. So usually...
bloody quid.
They get on sale sometimes.
But only one person has to buy it, right?
Yeah, only one person has to buy it, and there's 9 packs at the moment, but not every pack is a banger. Usually there's usually known to be like 1 or 2 duds per of the packs, but like you can kind of like piece together the good ones. But yeah, this is like the party game, and I'm surprised more people don't know about it.
I think there's okay. I know, like we said, one person buys it, everyone can play it, but it's like there are tons of these types of games just for free, right? Like Gartic Phone and. That's just the main one that I know, but like...
Well, JackBox is known for a couple staples, but like the idea behind this is like you have one person who has the game and they stream it like either to Discord, Twitch, or it's like in person.
Microsoft
have
Teams.
It on like your TV. Yeah, and then everyone else is either using a browser or a mobile device, and you just kind of play these like very simple games, usually better with a drink or two in you. And even now they've added, because they know about like Twitch and stuff, they have added like audience mode. So even if you like filled with your 8 players, you can have still like an audience participate as well, and like kind of like have a general vote for stuff. JackBox is, I think, known for like a couple of games. Like the big ones are Quiplash, where they have done like, I think they're on Quiplash 3 is the highest at the moment.
Yeah.
Where that one is, they will give you a prompt, like they'll say a question, and then 2 people like will get that question, and they'll have to give the funniest answer, the answer which you think most people are going to vote for. So that one can lead to hilarity, and also Fibbage, which I think they're on Fibbage 4 at the moment in JackBox 9, where it is they'll like give a question, but they'll have like they'll be like, why is blank this or something, and then you have to fill in the blank. But you have to kind of give an answer that could be true, where you're trying to get people to vote for that for your answer instead of the real answer that will be in the mix of them. But yeah, there's this JackBox 9, the latest one, is very fun. I think all there's only one which was like kind of like iffy, but like there was a game called Quicksort, which is you split into 2 teams actually, and then. You like this is, I think that's a 10-player game, but you can play with less, and you have to sort out things by chronological order. So yeah, it's the one that's on screen where it's like you have to put like all 5 of you have to kind of shout at each other while the other team is trying to like distract you.
Yeah,
and put things in the best chronological order that you can.
Okay, yeah.
So it's very crazy. That one was kind of fun. Non-sensory is a game where it involves sort of like some of it is drawing. So every Jackbox game has a drawing game.
I think the drawing one's always my favorite compared to like
word ones. Some of them are like this one was. It kind of you had to like. It would be like, where does this picture lie between wizard and snake? And it would be like you'd have to kind of guess, like everyone else who wouldn't draw the picture would have to guess like, oh, is this like a 10 wizard or like is it 10 snake or is it somewhere like in between? You have to guess based on the drawing. One of the ones that I had the most fun with was Roomerang, which was like a like Big Brother. It was like a reality TV show where there's 5 of you and 8 of you.
Yeah.
And you kind of all have it's like gives you a personality in game, but you can also just, be yourselves. And you kind of give the funniest answer and vote people out of the house, and it's a lot of
that sounds quite fun.
The one that I think everyone else enjoyed though was Junktopia, where it was kind of like the Antiques Roadshow, where you get given a piece of junk or like like a random object, and you have to kind of sell it back to the room and make it as hilarious as possible. Again, this is best when you're like a little bit tipsy.
Yeah. I was gonna say these are like drinking games.
Yes,
as far as I'm concerned. I do have a few. When you're done, I have a few questions about.
I was going to say. I think I was going to just special shout out to 2 of my favorite drawing games, which are from 7. There's Champed Up, which you will draw like a champion or something. So it'll be like champion of peeing while standing up, and then someone else will get like the not the prompt that you see. They'll see like whatever you draw, and then they have to draw something in return, but they don't see like the champion of peeing standing up. So say you draw your man accidentally with big feet, it could be they'll do someone with bigger feet, being like, this is the bigger foot, So it's a bit weird. And I think a favorite is TKO from Jackbox 3, which is you just draw random shit to put on a t-shirt and then random catchphrases, and it's just crazy. And then you can actually order those t-shirts after if you like.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard about that one.
So my question for you for this is, if you are new to these sorts of games and it sounds interesting, right? Is there any particular reason to buy number 9 for 25 quid? Compared to what I assume are a lot cheaper.
The others do go on sale pretty often. Like when 9 came out, all the others went on sale. Like generally, depending on how well they are. I would say do a little bit of research and see what people say. Like apparently 5 and 6 aren't that well liked. There's
my god, they're all 20 quid.
Yeah, usually, but as I said, they go on sale. Like they'll be on sale for like between like £5 to £8 sometimes. But yeah, I think I own. How many do I own? I own.
The original is only 19, so
I own 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, and 9. But
2,
that's
4, 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, that's because I every 2 weeks I will run a Discord like games night, and it's so I'm like, mix it up, not do the same.
I'd like to. I'd have to join one night. I've never played. I don't think I've specifically played a Jackbox game. I think I've played like Gartic Phone and this, that, and the other, but.
Yeah, well, as I said, they're just a lot of fun. There's not a particularly. I think like 2 and 3 are known pretty as like some of the best ones. Maybe 8 as well. Now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a particularly good one to like be like, this is a starter pack. There is like an actual starter pack with a couple like of them in.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird. I would like for them to do it where instead of like doing a new pack, be like, just have Jackbox the game, and you buy each game as a DLC.
It almost it almost feels like this. If you're up to what 9 now, there should be like some kind of hub game that just contains everything. Because you had like 5 different versions, right?
6.
It feels a bit silly to, I assume, having to like exit and reboot.
It does feel a bit silly for if you want to switch out, but it's not too bad. It's like very quick to load, very quick to just get people in.
It is kind of weird. I guess because it's bigger releases instead of just putting out like one game at a time. But it is kind of funny how there's always like when you ask anyone about any Jack, they're like, "Oh, how's the new JackBox?" And they're like, "This game is really good, and this game is really bad." And the others are kind of okay. And it's like you have to buy just the one pack for each good game, sort of thing.
Yeah,
that's what I think 5 and 6 are like. There's like one game, and the rest are a bit meh. Whereas everyone else, I've done the research and been like, which games are good? Because like for my birthday last year, I streamed some JackBox, and I made sure to do like research of like what games, which of these are going to be good for stream, because like some of them are you can play with like anyone, and you can have a good time, but some of them are you need to kind of know the people you're playing with to get the most out of them.
Can you play these on your own? No,
it's definitely it says between 2 to 8, but you generally want more people.
Yeah, so you definitely need someone to play with. You can't just boot it and play against AI or something.
There's no AI. Yeah, it would have to be you boot it, go onto your Twitch, and be like, anyone's allowed to join. Put the code on stream and pray that no one says the N word in one of their answers.
Well, the only reason I ask that is because not everyone has like a Twitch stream or a Discord where you can just hop in and be like, let's all play. It's just like it's first.
Yeah, it's not a game again, but then you don't need everyone to own the. You just make friends with someone who's got the JackBox pack.
Just make friends, Forehead.
Again, I'm doing a games night on Friday. I usually get like a couple of people that I'm like, oh, I know, like you and you are going to be a good time, and then I'm like, anyone else is welcome to join. And if there's overfill, you can come join as an audience member. Yeah. And it's always a good time.
So you've done one session of this.
I've done two. I've done one of JackBox 9, and then previous one we did like a mix of the JackBox games, and what else did we do? I've done 2 more other games nights, but I can't remember what games we did Among Us night, and we did In Silence, but I streamed that one. Usually I'd say I don't stream these on Twitch because I'm like, then we can be a little bit more inappropriate with our answers.
Yeah, you can be more sexist than racist, Steve. It's okay. You can.
No. Sexist maybe, but not racist.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm joking. You don't have to be as PC as you would on Twitch.
I like these games. I do think they're really good. 25 quid, even though it's one purchase, 25 quid is. It's very steep. It's very steep.
I wasn't even aware there was multiple JackBox. I thought there was just one.
I can't believe there's 9 already.
Well, apparently they release every year on October, so apparently it's been going for 9 years. I knew I'd get the money's worth out of it because I do Discord game night every 2 weeks. So
it is nice to have a multiplayer game where you don't have to. It's like when I was trying to get you guys to play GTFO, and it's like play it with me, and it's like I don't.
That's 120 quid worth of games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel like the missed opportunity for a lot of games these days. Well, even if it's not like the full game, but it's just like we understand that these games are best co-op. So say for like GTFO, it's like if you buy it, you can let your friends play it with you for like 2 hours.
The perfect game that did this as well, right?
Yeah.
Nintendo DS.
Oh, I know it's good.
The fucking Mario game.
It's so good.
Whoever owned it, you could play with your friends. They didn't even need to fucking have the game. It was great. Mario Kart, let's go. Like Mario World, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, Mario Kart on DS was insane. One person owned it, and it was just like, up to 8 people can now just play together. You're all Shy Guys, but that's not even a downside because Shy Guys fucking awesome.
Shy Guys fucking awesome.
Well, it's a bit like even like It Takes Two. You only need one person to own that game, or like get it on Game Pass. But then they'd give you the free. Yeah, I think there's a lot more games where it's like, if it has to be played multiplayer, they're more generous with like your friends can play for free usually.
Yeah, like I said, not even always for free if it's a full price game, right? But it's like just a chance to try and convince your friends.
It's like if we could do that first level or first couple levels, right, in GTFO. If you could buy one copy and be like, let's try that. I'll eat the cost. I don't mind paying 20 quid. Let's try this out for an evening. I think that would be a really good idea.
Yeah, it's not even like say one person has to buy it for you to then do that. I like the idea of. I suppose I'm just describing a demo, really. Games should get more demos. I just realised I was about
demos, not betas, which every game does now. So, demo the game for us. It's like, no, that's a fucking beta. It's not finished yet.
No, I was going to say, like, GTFO should have some kind of starter edition, and you should get, like, one level for free, so you see if you like it. I was like, hang on a minute. I'm literally just describing a demo.
Some kind of limited time preview, I think this is a whole game, but...
I think this is also where Game Pass shines, because everyone is, like, it's so cheap, and everyone just has Game Pass, so it's great for multiplayer games.
It's still weird to talk about Game Pass for me because I'm like, it should not be that cheap.
It's not. Soon it won't be.
It won't be much longer.
Someone in that company is knocking down doors, going, "Why the fuck aren't we charging properly for this?" And someone else is going, "Oh well, we've done it for this long. May as well just go for a bit longer, really."
It's a really like slippery slope, right? Because it's priced where it is, and it is a good price for what you get. But then as soon as you make it more expensive, it doesn't matter if they have good content, you cost more than other subscription services. Even if you're way better, you cost more.
Every week we're going, and it's on Game Pass, and it's on Game Pass. Yeah. So if Game Pass was £10 a month, you're still getting a good bang for your buck, as much as it hurts me to admit it.
That's probably what it will be. What is it now? It's currently like £8, I think, for basic. I say basic, but that's just like just PC. And they were talking about, as of some point next year, it's going to go up in price. Yeah. So that will happen.
Yeah, it's got to be sustainable. I'm sorry, but it has to.
Do you have any final words on JackBox, Stephen?
No, just like if you're curious, you can come on Friday, and even if you don't want to chat, like just come and watch, and you can enjoy it in the.
Yeah, drop an invite to your Discord in the comments on YouTube after this, just because I don't know. I don't know, in case someone's listening wants to join.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll go on to Sam. Then what have you been doing this week, Sam?
World of War. No, I'm joking.
I can't. No, Sam, I can't do it again.
I have been playing probably this is now my game of the year.
Oh wow!
This game that I've played, and is probably an easy sell to Will and Erin.
Hello.
They've played Vampire Survivors already.
Right. Oh yeah, but so first of all, it's a city builder, right? It's called Against the Storm.
Okay.
But it's also a roguelike. In the sense that you don't just in a city builder, you have your buildings and then you slowly tech up over time and have access to everything.
Yeah.
In this, you have very essential buildings, like build a house and build a woodcutter's camp and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And then everything else, you get through a level, you get about seven level ups, I guess, where you get to pick one building that you can now forever build for this level.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay, you can now build a carpenter's tent, so now you can turn wood into planks. You can now build a church, so now your people are happier, for example. Mm-hmm. And the whole premise is you are building, you're trying to level up your town enough for your main city and branch out to explore the nether, the whatever you want to call it, the void.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then each building session probably ends up being about an hour and a half max, because you have either lost or you have won. And the whole point is it's little bite-sized chunks of city building.
Right.
So it's not like you're just building and building, and then 6 hours later you're like, oh, well, that was a fun experience. And then so it's showing on the visuals right now. It looked a little Civ-like. Mm-hmm. Basically, you build your encampments, and then that allows you to, because you built one, you can now see more of the fog of war, and you're trying to basically spread out. And then after building 4 or 5 encampments, the entire map gets wiped. And then you go back to the volcano, which is where all of your people live. And then you have to spread out and do it again, and the entire map has changed. Right. And you have to slowly upgrade your main city, getting resources, doing all of these small cities.
I was going to say, is that like the post small city like meta game to upgrade some sort of big city?
Yeah. So the big city upgrading is more like what's it called?
Like Darkest Dungeon, where you're upgrading like taverns and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's a very good way to build. You're getting those like portraits and gold.
Yeah.
It's Darkest Dungeon is actually a very good comparison, except instead of going out and venturing into dungeons, you're literally building a city as swiftly as possible.
That sounds cool.
And it goes by so quickly, and I've not been brave enough to go past like the normal difficulty, because it's the further away you are from your volcano home, the harder it is. And it's already kicking my ass because it does that thing where my issue in city builders is you get to a point where you stabilize, and now it just kind of runs itself and you just kind of watch it go. You never get that, because by the time you stabilized, you've won. Time to move on to the next one.
Yeah. And start the process all over again.
You never get to that comfy bit. And the best thing is there's 4 races that like consist in this game. They all have their like bonuses and everything. You have the standard humans that are good with herbs and alcohol. You have beavers.
That's us. Yeah, that sounds like us. Yeah.
You have beavers, which are really good at dealing with anything that involves wood and engineering. You get lizard men, which are good at dealing with like meat and any kind of like heat or warmth based buildings, and then like cooking stations and stuff like that. And then you have harpies, which are really good with like alchemy and cloth. And you can only have 3 races, and you don't get to pick.
Oh, okay.
So you go in again. You go in, and it's very like, oh, what am I gonna get for this run? Because you don't really know.
Oh, I see. You are building all these races together. It's not, you're not picking a race.
You don't pick or choose.
You have them all
I see.
I've got beavers and harpies, and you could
together.
I've got beavers and I've got no wood production buildings, so I can't really make use of that. So like sometimes you can just get that happens, and then you're like, okay, well I need to like not pivot, but focus on, well, I'm not getting that, so let's focus on the fact that I've got harpies. What are their strengths? Like you have to, because you get such a small amount of choice with what buildings you have for that section.
Yeah.
You have to really be like, right, what can I craft? What can I gather? What can I do?
So what's the kind of threats while you're in the building bit? Is there RTS? Is it tower defense?
No, it's neither kind of. It's a normal city builder, but you start basically encircled by trees.
Yeah.
And then they're called glades, and they're little pockets of fog of war.
Yeah, you can see them in these images.
Once you chop down the trees to get to them, they're no longer fog of war. You now see that entire small pocket of area.
Okay. Oh, okay. Like a new room in a roguelike. Yeah. Okay, I see.
And there are small ones, and then there are big ones, which get a big nasty icon that says dangerous glade or forbidden glaive. And what can happen in there is, in the icons, you can get like a giant beaver that sorry, not a beaver, a mole, giant mole.
Oh, that was in the trailer. I was just had on the screen.
If you leave him alone, he'll just like burrow towards your town and destroy it. Or you'll get some like crazy.
Here it is.
Yeah, you'll get some crazy pot that's like been magically enchanted that just slowly degrades all of your food into nothingness. So you have to like send your people out, and you have to have certain resources to go and deal with them. But then once you have dealt with them, you get like massive bonuses. Like you can get the
that sounds
experience
cool.
to level up to finish quicker, or you can get rare resources that you can use in your main camp once you're finished. So like you balance this, like, do I want the resources from my hometown, or am I having a bit of a bad run? Do I just kind of need to all in on just trying to finish it so that I don't fail? Which I have had to do, because I had one run where I couldn't provide food for my people. So a trader came in, I sold everything, bought all the food, and then just went, right, every little node on the map that I can that says gives the XP, I just went, give me all the XP, and I hope I can win, because if I can't, I lose. Because I just I wasn't finding food nodes that I could gather from, because I had only chosen like one food building of the like 5.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
I see.
fine. I got super greedy and I almost got. Wow, I did get punished, but I survived.
So you lose
access.
because.
Sorry, Cam.
Yeah, this game is polished enough that like I've not had any bugs or anything like that, and the game just runs smooth.
Yes,
this game could just say released, and I would be more than happy with it.
Yeah, it's because it's got like a cool roadmap here, and it says like a new species, new events, new perks. Yeah. Twitch integration. There you go.
That'd be cool.
And this is your game of the year.
This game has impressed me that much, just because I love city builders, but I always get to the point of like, it's normally about hour 3, but even then I still keep playing. But like, you're in no danger. You have succeeded.
Yeah.
And you're just letting it run and seeing how magnificent it can get.
Yeah.
And that is good for some people. I know some people enjoy that, but this gives you that, like, you're building for a reason. You're constantly on the clock, because as each minute passes as well, a giant red bar is just filling up.
Yeah.
And the red bar decreases as you get experience to level up. So it's not like it's like, oh, in an hour you lose. But like in an hour, if you've made no progress, you will lose.
Yeah.
But you can easily delay it, but it's always there. You always have a constant threat that you're like, am I managing this? If I am, okay, I can afford to try and go out and venture to get more of those resources that my main settlement needs.
I really like the art style.
Sounds pretty good.
I like the art style.
It reminds me of I was gonna say it reminds me of Warcraft.
I was gonna say a mixture of Warcraft and also like very early League of Legends.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good shout. Yeah, I can see that actually.
But this game is it's one of those weird ones where it says it's got enough content that I'm like, if they said this was the full release, I'd be more than happy with it.
Yeah, you don't get that very often with early access games.
I'm still playing it. I'm still leveling up and unlocking new things, and I've not ever hit a point where it's like, oh, this is for something else they haven't implemented yet, or oh, this doesn't really work too well.
You haven't hit the like image not found. Exactly. What are you doing here? Developer message yet? Yeah.
That was what I had with Darkest Dungeon 2.
Yeah.
Where I finished the first thing, and it was like, well, that's kind of where it is. So see you later.
Yeah, good job. Come back in a year. Yeah, I got that too. So you said it's roguelike. Is there an ending that you're working towards? Is there like an ending in the distance that you can see that you're working towards?
I don't know if there's like credits yet. I haven't got that far. There could be, but I've done 5 settlements, and then the map wiped, and then I've done another 5. And you can get more if you complete your settlements fast enough. You can venture out with more settlements.
Yeah.
So it does like, oh, you were too slow. You only managed 4 settlements this time. And I think it's supposed to get harder. So maybe it could be go until you lose, or go until you fully upgrade your town. I haven't hit that point yet, and I'm not quite close to that point, I don't think. But I'm heavily enjoying it. It's really good.
Sounds very interesting. I'm not normally into these sorts of games, but I like the idea.
Yeah, the roguelike can really ruin a game, but it can really add this just unique feature to a game that you didn't think it would work with.
Yeah.
A city builder is normally a very set in stone genre. Every city builder is virtually the same, no matter how much you try to sugarcoat it. Really.
Yeah. me and Erin were talking about this recently, where she loves city builders and city management, but she's like, but I buy all these and then they're kind of all the same, where it's like you have a couple goes where you're learning how to do it, and then once you've got it, and it's just you expand. It's like Erin starts building for fun and making her own challenges and stuff, because it's like it's not challenging anymore. So if that solves that, this could be really cool.
How much is this?
£15.
15.29 currently for another. Was that 20 hours?
20 hours, yeah.
I mean, it's only 50% off, so
it's only saving you a couple of quid. It's not that. Sounds pretty cool though.
Yeah. No, this game's fantastic.
Or it's on sale now, but it could come to Game Pass.
Shut up, Steve. You shill.
I was like, where have I, Against the Storm, I recognize that name. Where have I heard that before? And it's because I saw it on Keymailer and I requested a key for it like a couple weeks back. I remember doing it.
Not the best name, I don't think, but it's a roguelike city builder. Like, what are you gonna do?
I was gonna say this name does not hint to the game at all. Well,
the whole point is there is a storm that completely wipes everything out.
Yeah, but like if I hear Against the Storm game, I'm not thinking a city builder.
What do you?
I was thinking like tower defense.
Well, yeah, I was thinking more of like a
MOBA. It makes me think of Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, it makes me think of a MOBA.
It's just got Storm in its name, and I can't help it.
Yeah. And that's cool, though.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great.
Sick. Fully endorsed by Sam. Game of the Year. It'll probably be in Jeff Keighley's Game of the Year awards in a month.
It's early access though, so
I would ever find another city builder that because we even had 2 Point Campus.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Another city builder, but even I fell off that quite quickly because again, it's like it's just the same as a city builder I played, albeit it was 2 Point Hospital, but there was nothing new. It was just the same game again.
I feel like now that 2 Point Campus came out and was so similar to Hospital, I feel like we're going to see that game in about 6 more skins before it's done. You know what I mean? You're going to get
like 2 Point Space Station, 2 Point Zoo.
Yeah, 2 Point Football Stadium.
2 Point Jurassic Park.
Yeah, you can see it a million.
What's the best? Okay, predictions. What's the next 2 Point game we see?
2 Point Asda.
2 Point Game Dev Studio.
That's a good one.
Yeah, like some sort of 2 Point Tycoon, like Roller Coaster Tycoon sort of thing. 2 Point Coaster.
2 Point Theme Park. That's a really good idea.
No, it's going to be 3 Point.
Oh, you're going to level up the sequel that no one asked for.
I think it's going to be 2 Point Parliament, and you have to run a house.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
that'd be too hard. Shit's always changing every 2 seconds.
Overthrow the monarchy.
2 Point Monarchy. We'll chuck the ball along then. What have you been playing, Will?
I have played a couple games this week. One I haven't played an awful lot of, and another I fully finished all in about a weekend. Which would you like to hear first?
Marvel Snap.
Is one of them Marvel Snap?
Neither of them are Marvel Snap.
Finished every single quest on Marvel Snap.
Yeah, same. And I'm done with the Battle Pass as well.
Yeah.
With like hours to go.
Do what one naturally flows better for you. What do you want to talk about first?
Okay, well, I guess I'll talk about Hell is Others, which is a brand new take on the extraction shooter. What's the word?
Extraction shooter.
Yeah, but what the brand new genre? What's the word? The booming genre, extraction shooter.
Category.
Yeah, just
trendy.
Trending new genre.
I guess the hot new, trending genre, extraction shooter. So this is like, I watched a friend of mine play it a little bit, and I was like, oh, top-down Tarkov. That checks out. That makes sense. And it kind of is. And then in some ways, it's so fucking weird that it's like endearing, and it makes me really want to play and see more of what it's got to offer. Because it's like, So in Tarkov, it's like a Russian, alleyway, right? That's the setting.
Yeah.
And you have to, it's all about mod. This one is like, you're in a sort of Art Deco hotel in your room, and all of your like room is customizable, and all of it gives different buffs. So you'll be like, I fancy putting a sofa here, and the sofa gives you minus pistol recoil, and you're like, all right, that's pretty cool.
I like that.
And
that's
then
good.
The hook is it's pretty set up like a extraction shooter. You go into a city, you're there with other players, you have objectives to do in the map, and there's other players trying to do their objectives. At any point, you can leave through an elevator, and sometimes players stop. You interact with players, you kill each other basically. And there's a bunch of PvE monsters that are also running around, and you can fight. And
are they the weird like ghost
and
things?
Stuff. Yes, yeah. But the hook is you wake up in your hotel room and somebody's left a bonsai tree at your door, and every day you have to feed your bonsai tree blood. And everybody is fine with this. It's like a completely normal thing in this world. And then after another couple days, a big crack in your wall opens up, and that starts talking to you as if it knows you. And everybody also seems fine with this. And then you go and talk to the janitor, who has a rabbit's head, and you ask him to get rid of it. And he's like, oh, yeah, whatever. I'll call the maintenance guy. Like, trying to fob you off. He's like a classic landlord kind of guy. And it's just, I'm just like, at any moment, I'm just like, right, what is happening? I don't understand what is happening. This is nuts. And it's like so weird. I just want to see what else it has to offer. I want to see where this is all going.
It reminds me so much of Hotline Miami in multiple ways, in that like it's top-down shooter. The Hotline Miami story got a bit weird as well, with like talking animal masks and like weird shit that.
And it feels like kind of meta almost.
Yeah.
The thing that's throwing me with this game is it's like a PvP extraction shooter, but there's like indie, like very indie feeling PvE, like not PvE even. There's like game in there as well, like with weird story. And like you don't usually get that with extraction shooters. It's usually go in, get your stuff.
Well, there's
get
not
out.
a lot of extraction shooters that exist. It's like
it feels this feels like it's like a third phase extraction shooter where the formula's been settled, right, and we're all getting a bit weird with it. Like now that's like, oh, it's battle royale except it's melee only and stuff like that.
It's like
this is just comes out of nowhere. Like, no, I'm just gonna make it about plants that grow bullets. Oh, I didn't mention that. All of the plants grow. All of the bullets you harvest from plants, and everyone's fine with that too.
So this has
just come out of nowhere.
Here's an extraction shooter that also has like a cool weird story. It's like, well, that's not like extraction shooters, but it's like, why can't that be like extraction shooters? Why can't they have these cool weird overarching plots?
I think though, unfortunately, I don't think this game is doing so hot with the numbers.
I heard that. Yeah, I heard that from.
For me, it's because when I first saw it, I was like, "What is this? This is And I think the PvE parts might be not even the PvE parts, like the story parts might be confusing people about, like, I assume the PvP is the main part of the game, like the extraction shooter part is the main part of the game. Do you think it like detracts from that, or do you think it like adds to it? Can you like finish the story and then do you just like start again, or like that's the thing, is it's confusing as to what it is.
I'll agree with that. As someone that hasn't played this, looking through these screenshots and watching these trailers, it is hard to tell what it actually is.
That's fair. That is fair.
I love the way it looks. I absolutely love this pixel art style.
Yeah, it's cool as well, and it does some fun stuff with the PvP where you are this guy, you're playing as this guy, but everybody is playing as this guy.
Yeah.
But when you're in the city, all the other players look like humanoid versions of the monsters that you see. Yeah. And it kind of plays around with that, where it's you know, as you're out hunting, it's the wall will be saying stuff, you know, like, oh, are you actually the hunter out there, or are you just prey for someone else and stuff like that? And it's like, yeah, I don't know, it's really cool. I think you're right. I think there's a problem with people not knowing what this is, and I think it might struggle for that. But I also feel like it has potential. Like if a big streamer or whatever picked this up and played it, I feel like this could be a hit.
Sleeper hit.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah. But yeah, I've really enjoyed what I've played so far. I'm not massively far in. I'm on like day 7 or something out of, and my bonsai tree someone comes to collect my bonsai tree at day 10. So I don't know what that means.
Some weird like story stuff's gonna happen on day 10.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been doing little quests. There's like vendors around the map, and someone will call you up in the morning and be like, "Hey, today can you bring me 80 cockroaches?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I guess." And they'll give you like a place you have to go and drop them and stuff. But yeah, it's good. I really enjoy it. I need to play more though. But it's like, there's so many multiplayer games out right now. I need to play
it's
more.
A busy period right now.
Yeah.
What was your second thing?
Oh right, so yeah, I played a bit of Hell is Others, and then Steve mentioned it last week, but it just popped up on Game Pass. It's called Ghost Song.
Ooh, I haven't played this yet. But I want to play this.
The Metroid-looking one, right? So all of when we joked about how this is like, it's just straight up Metroid, but what this actually is a sort of halfway point between Metroid and something like Hollow Knight.
You're saying so many words right now.
As you're playing, it controls exactly like a Metroid, where you've got your run, you got your jump, you have your shooter, which shoots like, directly forwards or up and down a bit as you're running, and then at any point you can hold the button and your guy will point his arm and he can full 360, you can aim wherever you want to shoot. So that's like, okay, Metroid. And then you get movement upgrades, you get weapon upgrades, and it's like, cool, we're playing Metroid. But also, it just has straight up, everyone drops a currency, everything you kill drops a currency, and you take that to level up 3 stats, which are like, what was it called? Like gunpowder, vigor, and resolve, or something like that. But, and then it's like, all these things mean different stats, and one makes you tankier, one makes you do more damage, etc. The hook is you wake up and everyone refers to you as, or you refer to yourself as Dead Suit. And
okay, a bit edgy, but okay.
All of the all of the human characters are like, that's weird. You never take your helmet off. And then all of the ships in the game have an AI, and they all think you are also a ship. So obviously,
you're some kind of robot or something.
No spoilers, but you are some kind of ship AI. It's trapped in a body. It also has an interesting with the combat. You shoot like Metroid, but as you shoot, your guy builds up heat in his arm to the point where his gun doesn't work very good. But then, as your heat builds up, you'll see his weapon start to glow red. And then if you have a melee attack, which does more damage depending on how much heat you have, which is like a really nice. Yeah, it's like you shoot a guy a bunch, and then say it's a boss, you're like kiting him about, and then you dodge their big attack, and then it's like, right, I've heated up my gun from shooting him. He's open. I'm gonna go and stab him a bit, and then dance away and stuff. And it makes for a nice little combat rhythm that I kind of enjoy.
It adds variance to the gameplay and combat, because a lot of times in these sorts of games, if you put melee in it and you put the shooting in it, but if one is obviously better than the other, you just end up using that the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like maybe there's builds, but I didn't get that deep into it. I didn't. The game wasn't particularly hard at any moment.
And the difficulty selects.
Yes, so it starts on new game, and then when you finish it, it's like you want to go back in new game plus on a harder difficulty.
Oh, you finished it?
Oh yeah, I finished it. Yeah. I got both endings.
How long is it?
I'm not sure how many. I think I put about. I could probably check. I think I put about 12 hours into it.
Okay, so that's a decent length for a game like this.
Maybe a little bit less.
We were saying when like
it's on Game Pass as well. So.
Yeah, it's on
Game Pass. Yeah,
because you were talking about it, Steve, and you were like, it's look at this Metroid clone, and I was like, Nintendo aren't making a lot of Metroid games. If this is just good,
Yeah,
like I'm more than
yeah.
It's not like
yeah.
another shooter. It's like a proper like Metroid kind of like game. I know you say it's not Metroid, but it's not specifically. But
yeah,
it's like
it doesn't. I feel like it doesn't get quite as crazy as something like a Metroid. Well,
play a bit safe, does it?
It's like, the problem. It's weird because I don't feel like it goes as crazy as like something like Hollow Knight, which is what I was sort of comparing this to as I was playing through it. Like you're well, maybe I don't want to spoil it, but you don't get, the movement abilities don't get wacky and wild in this as they do in.
You're not flying across the screen with
no
screw attack, are you?
You get faster and you get higher, right? But it's not it's not insane.
You're not breaking into the fourth dimension and coming out at another part of the map.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it's like, similar. It's not a massive map.
Okay.
Where something like Hollow Knight took me like days and days to finish. This is like, no, you can explore the whole map fairly quickly.
Yeah, Hollow Knight's huge, isn't it? I remember looking back at that. The game is enormous.
Yeah, there was I really want to get. Someone did a poster where it's like every single area all put together because they're all they all fit together on Hollow Knight, and I really want to get it. It looks really cool. But yeah, that's sort of goes on. There's a couple of other annoying bits like it has NPC quest lines like a Souls game, but it has exactly the same problem that we had with Elden Ring, where a NPC will be like, "Oh, thanks for helping me out." That you'll be walking around, you'll kill a guy, and it'll be like, "Oh, hey, I was stuck. Thanks for helping me out. If you want to talk, come find me in the caves." And it's like, the whole fucking map is a cave, mate. I don't know. And it's like there are events in the game that like progress time sort of thing, and if you miss, there are missable quests. So it's like, every time I finish a main objective, I'm like, I don't want to go and explore the whole map again, just in case there's an NPC, Faima butt pants in the caves has a quest where he wants me to tower defense him or something. I'm like, nah.
I always dislike that. It's I get how it's like interesting storytelling in Souls games, but that's one of the things that I kind of dislike about those games because I feel like I've been punished for doing something wrong when I had no clue what to do. Like, I'll see an NPC in a Souls game, and he'll be like, "Sup, brother? Yeah, we're best buds. Oh, how you doing?" And then like I'll go 4 hours in, and then later, and then he's there, and he just attacks me. I'm like, "What have I done? What's happening? What have I done wrong?"
Yeah.
Why do you hate me?
Like, literally, there was a moment in this where there was an NPC at the start. And I talked to him, and I will say all of the dialogue most of it is voiced, and it's really good actually. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Your suit sounds like a really soft-spoken woman through like a grill, like a face mask.
Oh yeah, like a Bane thing.
And it's like a Bane thing. Yeah. And it just sounds, it's like really pleasant to listen to. I don't know, like every time she talks, it's really, I'm like, oh, I hope this character makes it.
Yeah.
But there was, I met a guy like right at the start of the game, and he was like, "Hey, something about bugs," and the bugs talk to me and stuff like that. And I'm like, "Cool, that sounds weird. I'm sure I'll see you in a couple of hours time."
Yeah.
And then right near the end of the game, I think I was on the last step, and I walked past what looked like a pile of like goo, because you can see from the map this is very gooey, this game. And the suit just sort of said something like, "Oh, sorry fella," and I was like, "Oh, what was that?" And I looked back, and it's that character, and they're just keeled over dead. And I was like,
dead,
"Oh, okay."
It's like I said, it's like
fair enough.
They either die or they go missing, or you haven't done anything since you last seen them, and they turn up and attack you, and they're just like, "What have you done?" I'm like, "I don't know. Why are you attacking me? I killed a dragon and I opened a door."
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like back in Dark Souls, the levels were sort of, it's like open, right? But it's linear enough, and it's good at signposting you where you'll catch that stuff as long as you're paying attention.
Yes.
Versus this game quickly becomes very open in that you can get from any one point to any other point. Like, there's not a through central line that you have to take whenever you want to go anywhere, right? So it's like
Yeah.
you're sort of all over the place. So it's like you're never pushed into these meetings. You just sort of stumble upon them, sort of thing. Like I never found an NPC because I was like, oh, I bet he's here because I intuited out that's where this guy would be hanging
you just
out.
kind of
It's
find
like, no,
them.
I would just
Yeah.
And there was a funny moment where I came back from an objective and I was sort of taking a circuitous route just to check for like hidden walls and stuff. And it was like 4 rooms in a row. It felt like somebody was like, hey, what's up? You got a minute? And I'm like, oh, again? I'm just trying to deliver this back to base. Jesus Christ.
You found the apartment block. Everyone's bedrooms.
Yes, yeah. Someone's like, hey, I need to tell you about my tragic backstory. And I'm like, not now.
Yeah, I'd rather just play the game for a bit. That's all right. I'll come back in a bit. I will listen. Just need a break.
Yeah, I will listen. Yeah.
I do want to play this ever since Steve mentioned it. And then I think I saw a review thread on Reddit. And it was like average score around like 80 to 90. And I was like, oh, damn. Like,
yeah, I went to look up the reviews right before this, and it's scoring absurdly high. Like, and I liked this game, but I would not. It is not a 10 out of 10. You know, it's like a solid 8, solid 7 or an 8.
Yeah, I'll check. I will check this out. I've got it downloaded. Just haven't played it yet. I think this is the push that will make me play it. I think.
Yeah, and it's not that long. It's fun to play. I still hate the Metroid aiming and combat where
that's fine. Yeah.
You have to, I know you'd be fine with it, but where it's like, oh, there was a very specific boss where you have to deal with it and some like floaties, right? And it's like, if you can shoot the boss and you can dodge, all fine. But the minute one of those things gets overhead and I have to hold the trigger, stand dead still, and just like awkwardly swing my stick because I'm rubbish at.
Don't know what you're talking about. It's fine.
I hate it. I can't stand it.
Oh, I was sick. Or if that's is that you all wrapped up? Do you reckon?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I could talk a little about how I feel about the story, but also this is one of those games. It's weird because you know, like when you play Dark Souls and everyone is playing Dark Souls.
Yes, yeah.
So if you're stuck or you're like, you're trying to solve a puzzle and you're like, am I barking up the wrong tree? I'm just gonna go check on Dark Souls. Wiki or whatever.
Yeah.
This is this kind of game, except nobody's played it yet. So when I say something like the endings were kind of disappointing, I'm like, is that because I missed something 8 hours earlier and I didn't finish a specific NPC quest line and there's no answers anywhere yet?
That's what happened to me with Scorn, in that I played Scorn the minute it dropped on Game Pass and I finished it the same sitting in 3 hours. And then as soon as it ends, I was like, okay, that's an interesting ending. I kind of don't get it, but let's see what people say online. And all you find online is one guy on Reddit with a post from 7 minutes ago, and it's just him saying, yeah, I don't get it. And there's nothing else. Yeah. There's nothing else. At this point now, there's YouTube videos and this, that, and the other, but it's so fresh at the time. Yeah. There's just nothing.
And there was one bit where I knew what I had to do, but I couldn't figure out what it wanted me to do, what exactly it wanted me to do, right? So I was like, I'm gonna look it up. I can't. This was I'd finished one ending and I was just doing this in case it was another ending. And all I could find was I had to watch a walkthrough, and that guy got it wrong. He didn't answer the question. But then in the comments, someone was like, oh, check out this guide, which linked through to another video. So I went there, and then that guy in the description of his video had a link to his Google Drive, which had a map, which had is where I think this and this happens. Yeah. And then I went through, so it was this weird rabbit hole.
And now my computer has a Trojan.
Exactly. Have you done a scan?
Yeah, you're right. I should probably check that out.
Give it a couple of weeks, and there'll be some more stuff.
Exactly. Sure. Yeah. Maybe this is a 10 out of 10 game. It's just nobody has figured it out yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It might be a 10 out of 10 game, but because you just fundamentally aren't the biggest fan of these control schemes, that just knocks it down a peg a little bit.
Yeah. No. I just it's smaller in scope, I think.
Yes.
Than for better or for worse, it's smaller in scope. I won't be thinking about Ghost Song a month from now, whereas I still think about things like Hollow Knight just because of how crazy it gets.
Yeah.
But this is just a really fun, enjoyable little indie Metroid.
Yeah,
Souls-like.
Great way to pass the
Souls-like.
time when you just want something good to play for a day.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like done with work for the evening, and I was like, I'm just gonna try this out, and it hooked me enough that I played it all the way through to the end. So
sick.
It was pretty good.
Nice. We'll move on from Ghost Song then. I've got a couple things I've played this week. I'm going to go mainly into one, as opposed to them both.
Marvel Snap,
and World of Warcraft. No, it's my main one this week was the new Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, which specifically I'm going to talk about the campaign, because that's kind of all I care about right now, outside of Warzone, which will be free.
Yeah.
Is
not out yet.
And it's not out yet. Yeah, it's out soon. In terms of the part of it that is you have to actually buy, the campaign was all I really cared about. So I'll talk about this. I will talk about all of it, but there's not really a lot to spoil. If I told you, like, the terrorists get shot at the end and you kind of win, but there's a cliffhanger of the next game, as every Call of Duty game is. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I try to play every single campaign just because I think the way you were describing Ghost Song, where it's just like it's something really fun to play, that I can just play it, be finished with it, and I know I have a guaranteed good time.
It's like a movie. It's like watching a movie.
It's basically a movie. Yeah, it's about
like watching an action movie.
It's about 6 hours long, from start to finish. So a few things I'll say. What surprised me the most, which is why I think I enjoyed this so much, is there's so much variety, like level by level, that it's always doing something different. I think there was one point where Call of Duty campaigns were just, you run down a corridor or something, or like through a building, and you shoot some people, and then there's a set piece of like explosions and stuff, and then you just kind of repeat that a bit. That's the cycle of the game. Whereas this game, level by level, it's doing something completely different compared to just generic shooting. So off the top of my head, I'll try and remember the different bits that you kind of do. Not in this order, but here's what I remember. So you do have, there's your occasional generic go through a level, shooting bad guys, and then set piece. You have that. There's a number of stealth levels where you have to not get seen. You can get seen, but the idea is obviously you stealth the whole thing, and if you do stealth it properly, you have like cool moments with your teammates of like, yeah, take the one on the left, I've got the one on the right, like tons of cool stuff like that. There's like, if you played, I think it was the first Modern Warfare, all gillied up, like sniper mission.
Oh
You've got one of those. That's a really good mission in this. You've got AC 130 levels, which
I love those.
Yeah, so a lot of what I'm saying isn't new necessarily, but it's like seeing it in like such high fidelity now. Like these days, it's just like it's really impressive. At least I think it is. But you have that. There's a level where you get separated from your squad, and you are completely, you're gunless. You've got nothing. You haven't got a knife, and there's troops everywhere. And it's it's still linear, but it's a little bit open. And you have a teammate saying you have to adapt. And then it starts telling you, like, you start picking up, like, masking tape and chemicals and, like, candles, and you start crafting, like, gear. And it becomes like a little crafting mission where you go around doing that, and that's kind of weird. I didn't expect that. That's cool. And then it'll go to
this. There was some of this in Modern Warfare 2019, though, wasn't there? I remember.
Yes.
Wasn't there a mission where you start pulling bits off cars and making silencers and stuff?
Yeah. So there's a few levels based entirely around that, where you're making like smoke grenades and distractions to try and sneak around, and then get a knife, and then work from a knife to get a gun, and then you can start working through. It's just, and there's missions where you watch security cameras, and you're telling teammates when to go, when to shoot, when to knife. It's like I say, it's like every mission is just something a little bit different, and it's always keeping it like really exciting. And then it's just the story is it's kind of like your generic action story, but I kind of like the cheesy, like we have to save the world, only us, we can save the world.
We got to get our hands dirty.
Don't do this, Price. If
to.
you know, Price, if you do this, you're going to be on your own. That's fine. I'm going to save the world on my own. only I can do this. It's like that, all that kind of stuff. But it's just a really fun ride from start to finish. And I think we were talking about this earlier. I wish you could play these without dropping 70 quid on the whole thing. I wish you could just buy the campaign for like 20 quid. Which maybe one day, give it 5 years from now, these will all be on Game Pass, I think, at some point, hopefully. Because there might be a point in the future where it's
what an insane weekend you would have if you'd never played a Call of Duty campaign and you started at 4 now and just did all of the campaigns back to back. What would that be like?
Well, it's one of those things where there's so many of these now, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you have to play them all, but if they suddenly, say like tomorrow, they said every single Call of Duty game with its campaign is, say, on Game Pass, you could point to like 2 or 3 of them and be like, these are really solid, just fun little 4 to 6 hour shooter campaigns. Because you don't get a lot of like just linear shooter campaigns anymore. It's kind of like a thing that's dying out, I feel.
Yeah. Well, I guess because Call of Duty just brute forced them out of the running, right?
I guess so, yeah. It's like you have like Battlefield for all the shit that went on with 2042. That completely dropped a campaign, didn't it? That doesn't have a campaign anymore.
Yeah.
I think though for me, it's a lot of it's real life like guns. Like I expected to branch out more in like the fantasy categories, maybe like the sci-fi.
No, but that's the thing. It's just like if you every other year you get something like that. You have like
they've done that several times now. Yeah.
These games tend to alternate between sci-fi, modern day, and militaristic, like history war, like World War 1, 2, something like that.
Modern day and militaristic history, I'm like, they're all the same to me.
Yeah.
I know they're not, but it's all like based in reality. Whereas they did the one sci-fi one where it was like you could run on the walls and it was set in space or something. That was the one that actually.
I think that was their plan behind why they gave Call of Duty to like 3 different studios in the first place, because people were like, okay, we've done Modern Warfare series and we've run modern day into the ground. Before that, we ran World War II into the ground. Then they ran sort of near future into the ground. It's like, okay, how about instead of doing like 3 games in a row of the same thing, we just have 2 or 3 different studios make what they want. So the Black Ops games are kind of like Vietnam era kind of.
They're all over the place, mate.
I think Black Ops 4 specifically was like Vietnam kind of time.
No, they always bounce. In that game, they'll go from like Cold War era to Vietnam to Cold War to like actual future drones and stuff.
Yeah, and this I think Modern Warfare specifically is Infinity Ward.
Yeah.
What else is there? There's Raven Software. I think they make the weird like Infinite Warfare and stuff. I think
there's been so many. There's
Infinity Ward,
Raven. There was Sledgehammer was there for a while, right?
Treyarch made Black Ops.
Treyarch was the Black Ops / like World at War.
God, yeah, there's like 4 studios making different. That's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, so really, really enjoyed this. The other one I mentioned. Go for it.
Go on.
No, you go.
I have some questions about the campaign.
Yes.
The first Modern Warfare kind of was like a weird retelling of Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
Is this also a weird sort of retelling of Modern Warfare 2?
Yes. It's like a remake, but then so all the characters that you know from Modern Warfare 2 are in this. So Ghost is there front and center with his big skull mask.
Yeah, that was my other question: is why does everyone have a skull mask now?
Also, if Ghost was in the original Modern Warfare 2, and he had like a balaclava, like a big skull, and then this one he's full on got a big dumb skull like faceplate.
I love it.
I love
it so much.
There's even times when it's like they're in the car together chatting, and the people are like, "Why the fuck do you wear that?" And he just like doesn't answer. but yeah, you have that. You have if you remember Shepard, the like army man.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just said army man in
literally, yeah.
Context of a Call of Duty game. Josh, they're all army men.
Yeah, you have like him, and it more or less follows the same story of Modern Warfare 2 with a few like differences.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you remember how the main plot sort of goes to the original, it kind of follows it more or less. Like some characters live and die like the original. And then it ends on the stinger, which sets up for Modern Warfare 3, which is literally like, I think they all like get handed a picture, and she's like, "Oh," this lady's like, "Oh, here's the real mastermind behind it all, but we don't know who it is." And then it gets past to Soap, and he basically looks at the camera and goes, "Makarov," and then it just ends. Makarov, it's fucking Makarov, and then it's just like, yeah, oh yeah, Modern Warfare 3, we're chasing Makarov again in Modern Warfare 3. Literally how the first one. So yeah, it's like they're weird remaster, not remasters kind of thing. Faithful to a lot of the characters, but it's just like a different twist on it. Basically, it's fun. It's a fun little ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what I played, basically. That's what I really want to talk about. I'm really excited for Warzone 2. I don't think I'll stick with Warzone 2, but I'm just excited to try it out. It's something new and shiny, right?
I'm still disappointed
with you,
that you didn't try the hostage mode.
I don't give a shit about the multiplayer. I played the beta, and I was just like, it's just still Call of Duty.
It's Call of Duty, baby.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I think you are imagining some kind of Siege Call of Duty crossover, Steve. Absolutely not. It will just be Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Just try one match of it. That's all. I
don't have it anymore. I rented this on console because I'm not paying £70 just for the campaign.
Yeah.
It's like what I haven't even played it, but what I know that hostage mode will be like is probably what this DMZ mode will be like, where. Because we don't know what it looks like, everyone's going, "Oh, Call of Duty, extraction shooter, what's it going to be? It's going to be crazy, it's going to be blah." It will just be like, "Oh, yeah, it's Call of Duty, but you shoot AI and then have to leave."
The reason the campaign is so good is because you get to play Call of Duty in a short period of time.
Yes.
Just on rails, great gunplay, and it's not frustrating because it's not multiplayer.
Yeah.
Exactly. You finish the game before you get sick of it.
Call of Duty still feels fucking awesome to play on both console and PC. I played this on console, and it's fast, it's snappy, even with console controls. I played the multiplayer beta for Modern Warfare 2 on PC. That felt really good. They know what they're doing, obviously. Yeah. They make a lot of money doing this.
I think I played like the last COD maybe a little bit, and the menu felt like a console menu. I feel like the games are built for console, and
100%. 100%.
Also on PC.
Always have been.
Yeah. COD is the console shooter. That's what it is. I think there was stuff for like when Modern Warfare 2018 came out on PC. Certain parts of like the graphics and stuff were just broken on launch. But the console one was all fine. So yeah, console game through and through.
I can see we're watching. If people listening, we're watching. Josh has had the Steam page trailer running this whole time, and you can see all reviews mixed on Steam, right? And I bet if you look down, that's all people complaining that the game doesn't work for some reason.
It'll be graphical issues or some sort of lobby connection issues, or it'll be skill-based matchmaking. Should we have a look?
It could just be Blizzard Activision stuff as well.
I'm just going to read. I just want to see what people are saying about. Please stop resetting my settings. There you go. That's the first negative review.
There you go.
Patch updates, technical issues. Disconnects, random game crashes, stuttering. It runs like shit on PC.
Because it's like, who's buying a Call of Duty at this point, this far into the franchise, and going like, "Well, this is not what I signed up for."
Yeah, you know what you're getting. Yeah,
a man in a skull mask shooting people. Not sure how I feel about that.
They really jumped the shark on that one.
It's been in so many settings, and it's told so many stupid, bombastic stories that like. It's like not gritty enough.
Well, they told so many stories. They're literally remaking their old ones.
They're just yeah. They're just doing. This is like director's cut of the old ones.
Basically, yeah. It's like, what if we had a bigger budget and better technology to make what we made? God, how old is Modern Warfare 2? Like 10 years old? 10 years ago?
They already did the anniversary 10-year thing, didn't they?
Yeah, so it's even older.
10 years ago.
And all they need to do is just keep a couple of punchlines in there, and then
easy
sells.
They need what's his name, Price. They just need him to say something quotable every time, and Call of Duty will never die.
There's soap.
There's a bit you go undercover in this game into like some cartel base, and you tell them your name is Soap, and the guy says the line, "What the hell kind of name is Soap?" He says it in Spanish. It's like, oh, he did the line. I don't understand Spanish, but he did the meme line.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah. I'm looking forward to Warzone 2. I'm very much looking forward to Warzone 2.
Yeah, 2 weeks away.
Very quickly, the only last little thing I played was Mario and Rabbids Spark of Hope. And I've already
from one gritty shooter to another.
Yes, yeah. And it didn't click with me. I've sent it back. There's something about it. It just didn't click with me this time. The humor was still good. I like all the humor, but the gameplay was just kind of boring.
I feel like it came out at a weird time and there was suddenly like a lot to play.
Yes, yeah. There's also, whilst I was playing it, there was this weird thing in the back of my head, because the thing I do, I rent a couple of games at like the same time. I was playing this. I had Call of Duty in my PS5 ready to go, and I also knew that I could have been playing like Bayonetta 3 or something. And I was like, do I really want to be playing this now?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I will revisit this in the future. But my main issue is, just very quickly, it plays like the first game, but it's no longer grid-based. It's like you can run around within a set area and do things. And as opposed to, I think the first game was quite linear in its worlds. You kind of go down corridors and then do a fight. It's more open worldy, like bigger areas, and then you start fights almost like RPG, right? Enemies in the world, and it takes you to like an arena to fight the monsters in like these XCOM style fights. I won't rush this now. I'll revisit it in the future, and I'll give it a proper look at.
Yeah, because I feel like the first one, I think it came out like at a good time, and everyone wasn't expecting much, and it surprised a lot of people. So
I 100% completed the first game. Like I did everything.
I think I got to like the third or fourth zone. That's pretty natural for me to get that far into a game and be like, okay, I'll come to it later, and then just never do.
No, my save file had the like big 100% big gold profile. Like, you've done it, my guy. You've done the whole game.
Gamer.
And then, yeah. So yeah, that's. I'll revisit this, but yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is what I mainly played for this week. So, yeah, so we'll jump straight from this. Before we do some news, we do have another question for the week. This was from Rick, who is King of Cinders. I really like this question. This is there a genre of games you wish you could get into, but you just can't?
RTSs.
Is RTS for you?
RTSs.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like, it looks fun. It's always fun to watch. I panic if I look at one. Like, I remember, I think I was me and my brother were playing StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
And like I was like, I'm not gonna be able to do this, so I just did like a Zerg rush. I was like, oh, there's like, what was it, 16? There was some sort of early pool number that you could get, like, you've got this many Zerglings and you just rush the enemy. And I did that once, and I think that's like, after I did that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm done with RTSs.
Yeah. Oh, did you try the campaigns? The single players are pretty good.
I finished all of the first one of StarCraft 2, and then I think I got and then I got halfway through Heart of Swarm.
Because those games are basically elaborate tutorials for multiplayer.
I even did some of the Warcraft 3 stuff, but again, RTSs I think were ruined via the internet, because you play them at home and you're like, oh, I'm okay at this, and then you see one video online, you're like, oh, I'm dog shit.
No, you can't. Okay, so that's the thing. The same thing you're describing there happens with fighting games.
Fighting games.
Where you can...
That was my other answer.
Yeah, you can literally you can. It's the same with anything. You can go online and be bombarded with people that are the best at whatever it is their craft is, whether that's
Shooters
a game
as
or
well.
whether it's an art or a game or a sport or whatever. Most people aren't like that. If you're struggling to just do basic stuff, there's ladders in these games and ranking systems. You will be placed against someone else that can barely use a fight stick as well, or the controls.
I think the difference is for fighters, it's very it's 1v1 on the screen. You see what's in front of you. It feels like I never look at a fighter and feel too intimidated. I'm like, oh, that is difficult, but I always feel like I could get there. RTSs, it's like, oh, they're looking 7 different directions at once. They're like got 4 different units moving in this direction and 7 that direction.
But the thing to remember
much.
But the thing to remember is they're not actually doing that. It can feel like they're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, they're normally just struggling just as much as you are.
I know with RTSs though, it's like every set. It feels like if you're not doing 4 things a second, you're doing it wrong. Whereas in a fighter, I'm like, it's more reacting to what your opponent's doing. It's you are in the moment, but it's also like a shorter match. Whereas in an RTS, it's like, oh yeah, you've got to be doing 20 things at once, and the matches can take a while. And that's the
I'd
one. I'd like to get into it, but it's a lot to look at.
That's the one thing I didn't like about RTSs is you can get 2 to 3 minutes in and scout your opponent, and then based on what you've done and what they've done, it's like, oh, I have been hard countered within the first couple of minutes.
Yeah, and you'd be like, I'm going to build this unit, and then stay somehow snuck in a scout and have just built like the counter for it, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm dead.
I think for me, I think it's that games are primarily like a social thing where I play things like Hunt and other shooters because I can get my friends together and we all play together and we win or lose. And you can also, that serves as like a good onboarding where I really got into Hunt because I played with Sam and Chris and my buddy Chris, and they'd played it before and they could sort of teach me the ropes, and you can learn as you go, even if you're not doing particularly well, sort of thing, Yeah. Whereas the only on-ramp to something like RTSs and fighting games is you sit down on your computer completely alone and you get your ass handed to you over and over again. And I just feel like it's too much for me. My emotions can't take it.
I get what you mean there, but I will say what comes with that is on the flip side of that, when you get really into and then ultimately you get competent at RTSs and fighting games, like a 1v1 game, they're the only sort of genres that allow you to experience what it is like to basically completely dismantle your opponent in front of their eyes.
Oh yeah, because the one fighting game I did get into was For Honor, and I remember, like hands down, like perfecting someone in For Honor was like for Rush. I was like, this is what it must feel like to kill a person in real life.
It's like you're playing like a fighting game, and there'll be certain times when you're into it, and you're basically in your opponent's head, right? And before anything happens, in your head, you say something. You work out in your head like, you're gonna jump at me now, and I'm gonna uppercut you, and then they do it. And you uppercut them, and this is the thing of I've just fucking read you like a book. like I am in your head. I know what you're gonna do before you've even done it. Yeah, and it's just there's nothing else like that.
But I do feel like you get that in other genres. I feel like you get that in shooters as well, where things like Counter-Strike. It's like, he's going to push, so I'm going to throw the flash right as he pushes, and then he's going to push while he's flashed, and I have beaten him. I have outthought that man, and I feel like you do get that. I get it. It's not the same thing because it's.
I think 1v1 games offer that a lot more and a lot faster compared to
true.
You keep saying though 1v1, whereas RTSs to me they can be done 1v1, but they also can be done like many more.
Oh players, but they're not.
I think, though, also to give credit to StarCraft 2, like the daddy of RTSs, I believe there's like a mastermind mode where 2 people can control one army, which is like there to meant to help you, like, newer players play with their friends who are maybe a bit more
Well,
advanced.
StarCraft 2 has the arcade, which is full of weird
Yeah, and then also
modes.
the Commander mode as well.
Cult Commander is so good.
So that game is like the one where I'm like, I could see myself maybe putting some baby steps into like StarCraft, but a lot of the others I'm like, ooh, very intimidating.
Yeah,
but I always see those modes as like, it's like putting off, because you see when other people are like, hey, how do I learn to play X shooter? And you always say like, I mean, you can do the training, but the only real way is to just do it. And I feel like when people are like, oh, just play 2v2, it's like you're just putting off going in and getting your ass beat, right?
Mean,
it's like, it's coming.
You get the mindset of like, I will play 4v4 to get myself comfortable with the game so that I can finally man up and do the 1v1, and then that person will just never do 1v1.
Exactly, yeah.
Because they're never ready. You have to just jump in the deep end, unfortunately. You have to, and that's why fighting games and RTSs are so hard to get into, because they have both of these games, both these genres have such complicated and different control schemes compared to other games. And it's like you have to learn this whilst getting your ass kicked for ages.
Yeah.
Until you can finally get to the quote unquote the good bit. That is hopefully there. It's just Jimmy down the road. It's just been telling you that it's the good bit. Like, it might not be there.
Those genres tend to have a very low player retention.
Yeah.
Because the people that are good at it will stay, and the people that really love it will stay, but people that like it but can't hit the level they want to be at will drop it in a heartbeat.
It's why I'm annoyed that like the fighting game genre hasn't taken this whole free-to-play stance a lot earlier. I think the problem with fighting games is, like you say, they need a big player base, so you've got a bunch of people consistently in Bronze League.
Yeah.
So the irony is that the more players it has, the better it is.
Yes.
Because everyone has a better experience.
Yeah. It's tricky, because it's like,
I also it also feels like there is, specifically when it comes to RTS, I feel like there's a whole bunch of like side genres of RTS which I am missing out on because I just cannot get to grips with the RTS part.
Yeah.
And I mean things like anything where it's sort of management under a time pressure, like the Total War series. I fucking love. Can't stand the battles in Total War at all. Just cannot get into them. I just start auto-resolving all of them whenever I play that game.
Right with you there, buddy. I love that game, but auto-resolve every battle. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, exactly. And I just get so frustrated. And I think I'm just getting frustrated at myself because I feel like an idiot child when I play them. you know what I mean?
I think what keeps me pushing through when I'm playing things like that is knowing that the opponent is going through the exact same thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel like it.
It never does, but that's why you have to really work hard to keep it in mind.
It reminds me of in League there was that character, oh fuck, what was his name? And his move was he could drop a totem and then jump to it. Right? And it always looked somewhat, come on, we all played League for too much time. How can I not remember that guy? He was
Lee Sin.
Lee Sin, thank you. Fucking hell.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever that guy beat you, even if it was like, Timmy's first day of playing League, whenever that character beat you, it looked like he was styling on you. Yes, thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
And it was so aggravating. And every time you play something like a fighting game, it's like, in any other genre, right, a guy will kill you and it's like, you can almost be like, oh, he got lucky, or that, okay, fair enough, that was a good shot, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in a fighting game, if somebody is better at a fighting game than you, it's so awful.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're just getting shut out and this guy is just like flexing on you.
The worst, I was just saying, the worst thing about like learning a fighting game in particular is the visual feedback you get for losing is literally your guy getting the shit beaten out of him.
But that's the opposite experience I have with fighting games, where like I will, as long as I'm fighting like the same person over and over, I see it as like if I can do like slightly more damage this time. Like I fought Josh Tekken 7, right? Or 5? Which one was it? No, not Tekken.
Street Fighter 5.
Street Fighter 5. And he decimated me, but like there was like one round where we kept fighting and kept kind of training, and there was one round where I won just one round of it, and I was like, yes. And I always see, like, I played a lot of Smash 4 1v1s like online, and I would lose most rounds, but I always enjoyed it because I felt like you could, in fighting games, they have to let you re-challenge the same opponent again if you like, both of you agree. And I liked that because then I feel like even if I got totally stomped, I'm like, well, this time I'm going to at least get a couple hits in, and it pushes me forward. So I have that different effect with fighting games.
Most fighting games now do in like ranked play. It's not guaranteed you have to both opt in, but it's encouraged to do like best 2 out of 3 or best 3 out of 5. Because,
same with multiverses.
Because so much can change after, like, you can get like destroyed a round, but you can go like, okay, you can recenter, take a breath, think about what just happened, and be like, okay, try again, and it can completely swing. You can go from being destroyed to suddenly you're just destroying this person back.
But then, like in shooters, I'm the opposite, where I'm like, oh, if I get shot and they are absolutely destroying us, I'm like, oh, just get me out of here. I'm done, chief. Like Valorant is that very much that for me, where I'm like, it's 14 rounds, and if we're getting stomped by round 3, I'm like, oh, forfeit. Come on, team.
It's like that's the whole mind game part as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I guess it's the same kind of thing, though, isn't it? But I love that about games of Counter-Strike where you'll be down like 3-11 or something, and it's like, well, look, we just have to stop losing rounds, and then there's no like persistence here. It's just hey, maybe if we're really good at rushing B, it will be great.
Take Deagle's rush B.
We have one off of that.
We have done that. I remember games specifically where it's like, we keep just running into sight and they can't stop us, so we're down like 9 rounds, but they can't seem to stop us, so we're gonna keep doing it. I love that stuff.
My genre is like 4X grand strategy. I talk a lot about I like StarCraft, which is more precise strategy.
The same as Rick.
But when it zooms out and it starts being like economies and big armies go over here, and I just get bored. It's just, I don't know, I just find it boring. I just don't find there's just nothing there for me.
But that doesn't sound like a genre you particularly want to get into.
That
sounds like a genre you just don't like.
So I have definitely tried some before. I can't give you specifics. Other genres, I guess, it's kind of like, it's a bit generic, but like racing games, I can't really get into. I tried the new Forza and stuff like that.
That's fair.
And they're just, again, I see the loop. Like, I see what this game is, but it's just, I don't really like it. And sports games as well. Outside of, I like arcade sports and arcade racing, but like, your proper year-on-year sports games or your proper year-on-year racing games.
I could only play Football Manager, and even then, I can only play it for so long.
Yeah,
Sam's playing Football Manager, but he's imagining Blood Bowl.
Basically, yeah.
What's a game for that?
What's yours, Sam? Is there a genre?
Mine is Metroidvanias.
Yeah,
because I wish I could be into Metroidvanias, but that genre just isn't for me. I can't. It's that, and like, I would say action RPGs, but I bite the bullet and play them anyway.
Yeah.
But Metroidvanias, I sit down and like within 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't play this game.
Yeah.
And it's like, to this day, Hollow Knight is one of my most favorite games to watch.
Yeah.
Of all time. Like, it almost rivals like old school StarCraft 2. Like, watching speed runs and all the modding that's going on now with like hide and seek and stuff with Hollow Knight is incredible, and I love it. I cannot play the game. I cannot play it.
My thing about Metroidvanias is I've played so many of them, and I do really like them, and I feel like every single new one I play now, I'm like, damn, I've played this before, and it's like,
Welcome to City Builders.
yeah, it's just like it's a brand new game, brand new art style, but it's like I've done the Metroidvania loop so many times.
No, I get that. Even Ghost Song, which I really liked, I was like, okay, a good job. You put a ledge I can see that I can't jump to right at the beginning. When am I gonna get the double jump? And it's like, I've done this before. I know what the.
Yeah.
You're not gonna blow my mind by being like, I can go left at the start all of a sudden.
You see,
and it's like.
Go for it.
Oh no! I was gonna say, do you want to keep going? Will. Sorry.
Well, no, it's all right. I've lost the point now.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say the only Metroidvania that interests me that I've seen is the original Super Metroid, and that's only because there's like randomizers for it, which like I'm like the whole like catacomb maps. I'm like it. I get it. It's good for like one playthrough, but I just see like the potential of like, oh, you could have different items here and take different paths, and like So I wish there was more ones with like random like upgrades and pathways, which I've only really seen in myself in Super Metroid, the original one.
Well, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing about Metroidvanias. Think of how you want a Metroidvania to be, or what you would like in a Metroidvania, right?
Yeah,
it exists somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Someone has made it. There's so many now, and it's just like
that was my point. Okay, I'm back. Do you think that's the curse of when you get something like a Hollow Knight, where it's all? Or I always think of Diablo 3, where it's such a perfect distillation of that genre.
Yeah.
That it almost preemptively ruins all the games that come after it, because I'm like. I'm done. I finished that genre. You cannot make.
I think it's just oversaturation of the market of one specific thing. If you went to a machine or an AI to pump out something, and you typed in indie game, it would pump out a Metroidvania. That's what would come out of it.
It's why we loved Vampire Survivors, was because we sat there and went, how has someone not made this yet?
Yes,
exactly.
We said it earlier about city builders. Every city builder that comes out, like until the one I spoke about, Against the Storm, every single city builder is just exactly the same. Like, yes, obviously they're not exactly the same, but like they are.
Yeah, it still feels like we're still at that weird kind of point where we're taking just roguelike and stapling it to other things and seeing if it works.
I'm all for it. I love it.
But maybe that at some point that will outstay its welcome, and it'll be like, oh god,
yeah, it probably will.
Another roguelike.
At the moment, roguelikes are the only thing that gives us that freshness and a challenge at the moment.
Well, it's optimization of creating a game. It's a way to extend a life of a game and keep it interesting whilst minimizing asset creation. Yeah. So again, in terms now for indie games, a lot of indie games that are coming out are roguelikes because it's a popular genre that's good to make a good loop and get good length out of. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling, but got a bit off topic, but yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's a mark of a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Rick. That was a good question. If anyone else has any more questions, as always, you can email it in at thegameforecast@gmail.com, or you can always leave it as a comment on the YouTube, or just DM me directly on Discord, things like that. We have channels for it as well. Just leave it somewhere. It will get found if you want to leave a comment. Yeah. So, okay, we'll go from that.
Leave it under a rock outside Josh's house.
I will find it. I'll be confused.
Yeah.
Like a note, just like
tape it to a brick and throw it through his window.
Yeah, a brick comes through my window. I'm like, what the fuck? Open up a bit of paper. What is your favourite game? OST. Alright, let's do some news. There's a couple of interesting topics this week. The first one is about Dwarf Fortress.
I've seen some people who love Dwarf Fortress have been talking about this.
Yeah, I am really excited for this. Has anyone here tried it before?
Never.
Yes.
So, did you have the same thing I had?
Back in the day, yeah. me and all my friends at college, we were like, someone was like, "Have you tried Dwarf Fortress?" And I was like, "I've read about it, but I've never tried." I'm gonna, you're right. It's a huge, expansive game. I'm a kid, so I've got infinite free time. I'm gonna try Dwarf Fortress, and I tried, and I tried, and I could not get into it at all.
I just couldn't get past the ASCII graphics. It's such a hard barrier, and I feel like for people to say like, no, just you get past that. And it's great. It's like it's literal like command prompt ASCII. Like it's really hard
It fully landed in the type of game where I love reading about it and I can't stand playing it.
Yeah,
which is mostly Dwarf Fortress and EVE Online.
So before we carry this on, very just for context, the reason this is up is because Dwarf Fortress, the old ASCII game that everyone talks about, is getting a Steam release, which is now confirmed for early December 6th, and it's getting full mouse UI control and graphics. Like it'll look like a game.
It's getting graphics.
It's getting
That's
graphics.
So exciting.
What was you going to say, Steve? That's the context.
I was going to say, I talked to several Dwarf Fortress players, and some of the stories about they talked about like how there was a thing in the game where people's cats were dying after an update, and it's because in the game, the dwarfs were drinking alcohol and spilling it, and the cats were cleaning themselves, and it was like spilling on the cats. It is so in detailed, Dwarf Fortress. So it's crazy. I would never want to play it, but hearing the stories is amazing. But I've heard that like apparently the Steam release. Like, is there only one guy making this game?
Yes.
And he's quite eccentric, but apparently he's doing the Steam release because, which has delayed other planned updates because like his brother got cancer or something, and he needed the money. So it's like he like put a lot of time into this. So I'm like, if it sort of seems like the sort of game you'd like to check out.
There's a really good no clip. It's actually it's here on this page. There's a no clip documentary, really short one, 23 minutes long. Explaining the guy talking about Dwarf Fortress, why he made it, how he made it, the origins of the design and stuff, and that's a really good watch. I think Dwarf Fortress for me it's the game I point to when you talk about like emergent gameplay. It's like a guy has just designed a shitload of systems, individual systems and rules and stuff like that, and you chuck them all together, and you just see what happens. And that's like you say, that's where you get weird shit like cats drinking beer and dying from having too much thin blood or something. Like you don't design that specifically to happen. You just make systems that cats can drink liquid. Dwarfs, when they drink beer, they spill a bit and just stuff, and it just happens. And I'm all for it. It's just like I said, I just couldn't get past the graphics when I first played.
Now the graphics are looking better. Are you going to consider checking it out?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm really excited for this. I really want to try it. I think the thing I struggled with getting my head around when I first played it, I think, was that like you can hop up and down levels. So if you imagine like you're looking top down at something, but you're looking at a cross section.
Yeah, it's like Minecraft if you were hovering above and looking straight down. Yeah,
and you took a layer off, and another layer, and another layer. Yeah, and that I found that really hard to sort of see through in ASCII.
Yeah.
Because I never got to a point where I had like a big underground mine. I think I was just like a dwarf in a forest somewhere, and it was But is anyone else going to get this?
Depending on the price, I might give it a little check out.
$30. So
I might wait for it to be on sale.
Yeah,
I was gonna say this seems like the sort of game where I'd like to mess around with it. I'm not sure it'd be like my sort of game where I'd like create endless hours of fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just I can't remember, but I think it's kind of like RimWorld, where you don't tell them specifically to do things. You just say like, you can do this within this area. Go do kind of like what you want.
Yeah, they all obey their own rules, right? But you just say, hey, if someone at some point, if they feel like it, could they clear out this cave and then we'll put stuff in it?
Yeah, and
that's
then,
and eventually they get around to it when they're done eating and stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like this is not for me. I don't know, because in some ways I feel like this could be really fun to mess around with, but also, like you said, it's like RimWorld, where it's kind of it's not make your own fun, but you know what I mean, where people are setting their own goals and stuff.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like,
and I'm really bad at those. But I think Erin will fucking love this game.
Erin will love this game.
Yeah.
Because this is, I'm pretty sure that it's like Dwarf Fortress is the game that inspired games like RimWorld and things like that, where it's like, this game's great. Why is it not got graphics? I'm gonna make something similar with graphics.
Yeah.
But yeah, that comes out December 6th. Excited for that one. You've then got the next news story. This is I'm kind of surprised this hasn't happened already, but this is Lionsgate have displayed interest in making a big AAA John Wick game.
Did you know there was already a John Wick game?
Yes, John Wick
Fortnite?
Hex.
John Wick Hex. Yeah.
I've played that. It's not very good. At least I didn't like it.
It's not very good. I played that as well.
When I think of making a John Wick game, all I can think of is making like a stylized like Max Payne game.
You've said it before. You've taken the words right out of my mouth. When you think of something like this, you point to Max Payne, right? You can't not.
Yeah.
There was a game, I think it was like early PS3, called John Woo's Stranglehold.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was
with
also
the guy diving through the air with doves everywhere.
Yeah, and it was like slow motion diving downstairs, and
yeah.
I don't think John Wick would be that extravagant, but that's another game that I look at where it's like you could perhaps look at things like that. But yeah, I think I'm surprised there's not been something already. Like John Wick's not exactly a small property. It's just like, are we kind of at the point where AAA games based on movies don't really exist anymore?
Yeah, and it's like it'd just be like a one-man army kind of game, right?
Yeah.
And we have had a lot of those throughout time.
Yeah.
It's, I guess in some ways, Sam's right. It's kind of like, what do you even, unless you go super weird with it, like John Wick Hex did, what do you even do with a John Wick game apart from just guy runs into a room and shoots everyone? Like,
like you could boil it down to, if it didn't take a comedy route or anything like that, it would just be a really serious GTA, right?
I think you literally just copy Max Payne 3.
Yeah.
It's like a linear 10-hour long John Wick game that plays like Max Payne 3. It's canon because that gets people excited. You go like it's real. It's happened between movie 2 and 3 or some shit. And it's just like a solid third-person shooter, I think.
It feels. I know, yes, but like you just sort of described every kind of movie tie-in game from the 360 era.
Yeah,
the PS2, 3. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's 10 hours long and it's fine, I guess.
But that's what I mean. It's like
John Wick,
but what if it wasn't fine? What if it played and looked really good? Like, I think there's what else you have. Like, do you remember Splinter Cell Conviction?
Yes. Wait, which one was that?
It was the one where Sam Fisher isn't like stealthing or upside down on ceilings anymore. He's like kind of a bit of a grizzled man, and you take cover.
That's the one I really liked. Yeah,
it's a good game. Let me have a quick look.
There's so many. There's been so many of them. Yes, this is the one I played. Yeah. With the really cool co-op mode.
Yeah, there was that one, and there was another one as well. That came after this, but they were kind of like, I could see them doing something like this. As Conviction Blacklist. Splinter Cell Black. No, that's not what I'm thinking of.
No, Double Agent was Conviction, then Double Agent, then Blacklist. Am I insane? No, Double Agent, then. Oh wow, okay.
Double Agent, Conviction, Blacklist. Maybe Conviction's the one where he gets a big beard then, even though it's not on the box art. There's one where he's like all grizzled and he's like, "I'm Sam Fisher." But this game was good.
But do you think
Blacklist,
we? I hate to say this, but do you think we need like a
No, of course not.
John Wick game like right now? Like I feel like we're inundated with these like types of games.
It's
you don't get movie tie-in games.
Well, not
anymore,
a movie
do you?
tie-in, but like like the sort of like. To me, I always associate like Just Cause, Max Payne, all of them are kind of like blurred together, and I'm like, we've already got very
You
well
just named
established.
2 games that haven't had a new entry in years.
Max Payne 3
I
is
don't know.
old.
What's the one? There's an Ubisoft one that's came out recently as well, right?
A Ubisoft one that came out. They only make
Assassin's Creed.
With Chicken Man from Breaking Bad,
Far Cry 6.
Far Cry as well. Yeah,
Right.
I those games all kind of blur together for me. So I'm like,
No,
don't we
Far
have-
Cry is a completely different
Far
experience.
Cry, yeah.
Was it Max Payne?
Open world first person. Max Payne is linear third person. It's also like Max Payne 3 had the whole Rockstar storytelling behind it.
I sort of see what he's saying because it was around
just
the time of that like
hero.
Ubisoft game where you could almost see
Yeah.
when Splinter Cell is kind of like Far Cry but linear. I sort of see where you're coming from.
If anything, Steve's opinion is probably the most important as someone that doesn't know about these games.
Oh, I agree with that. But yeah, it's all like white action hero goes and just kills everyone in like usually a jungle or a foreign setting.
That would be it's like the John Wick movies are great because it's really well choreographed. It's just a series of really well choreographed action scenes, right? And I'm not John Wick, so what's it going to be when my guy just like trips over his feet and gets blasted by a shotgun? It's like that doesn't feel very John Wick. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Well, it's like I said, the whole story is the fact that they're fiddling with it. It might just go absolutely nowhere. They're definitely doing a new movie. Oh, it's John Wick Hanks. They're definitely doing Chapter 4 movie. We'll see. But I think the reason you don't see these movie games anymore is just because games are so expensive to make, and they also demand a certain level of quality.
Well,
to
also
not
just
be
movie
shit.
games have a reputation of being shit.
I think that's old. I think it's been long enough now that
games are too expensive to just be shit.
Yes.
What's a really good like movie game tie-in that's been about then recently?
I can't think of one because they haven't.
They don't make them.
Any. They don't make them. Yeah.
Yes. So I don't think we need like a AAA John Wick game, but if they do it and they do it well,
yeah.
I think the big issue is a film doesn't have enough story content to normally fill out a game's length.
Yeah. You got a padded John Wick story to be like 10 hours long now.
I don't know about that. Because I feel like the job of a movie would be to get people interested in the world, and then the job of the game would be to flesh out that world.
But then it's a bit like, would you say Shadows of Mordor is a movie tie-in game sort of thing? Like it's in the world, but
in universe,
totally separate.
No more.
Shadows of Mordor is a very good example of a video game from a movie done well.
Yeah, but that's like
was incredible.
To me, that's more the universe rather than a movie tie-in game. I always figure it is like would be Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, the video game, which I did actually enjoy. But like Shadow of Mordor
so
to me
muddled here.
I'm gonna pull this back a little bit and throw out another sort of pro for why I think this could be good. Is not an hour ago I was talking about how I would love something like that COD campaign, but separately for like 20 quid. And there's nothing here that says there's
a AAA game £20. Are you off your rocker?
Or it depends. It can be AAA in quality and not have like
AAA in price, my friend.
I also think Keanu's got around too much in video games as well.
Happen, mate.
That's what I would want. Like, you don't have to juggle shit like weird multiplayer live service. Don't worry about any of that. Just make like a solid 30 quid John Wick campaign.
They have to pay Keanu somehow. It would be 60 quid, maybe 70.
He's Keanu Reeves. He'd do it out of the kindness of his heart.
No, but he's busy now though. He's busy.
He's just $4,000, right? For a couple of lines.
That's really good.
That's a good callback.
That's really good. I'm gonna go on from that. There are a few more stories that we did have. I'm not going to rush them. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you headlines and I'll put them in the sources. We've got to start wrapping this up, unfortunately. Halo Infinite launch was like a runner tripping and falling at the finish line, the Xbox boss says, which this whole story is just another conversation about, the fuck is going on with Halo, basically.
Halo Infinite was like a man with cinder blocks tied to his feet being thrown off a bridge.
Yeah, and then saying good luck and legitimately thinking he's going to make it. Why did he sink? And then
I'm really annoyed that, once again, Microsoft is doing the apology tour where they've released another shitty Halo game, and they're like, okay, it was rough, but we've learned our lessons, and it's like, it's the fourth time you've done this. Just stop.
Just put 343 in the bin, for fuck's sake. That was that one. The last two were PlayStation related. You have PSVR 2. Got a launch day. It's coming out in February for $550. I imagine that's probably
that's too much.
That's like 500 quid, if not 550 quid these days, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$1 equals £1.
I like when Josh reads these stories because it's kind of like he's high-fiving himself as the only one with a PS5 here, and the only one who is even going to think about buying VR2.
It's crazy how this is more expensive than the PS5 itself, right? And also, there's no backlog of games. Like, you have to buy VR2 games. You can't use your VR1 as well.
It's just like, does it work on PC? No, I don't care.
No.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And I think they've confirmed that now, right? That it's...
Yeah, I think they've confirmed doesn't work on PC, can't play PS1 games.
Or ludicrous to me. You would limit it to just PS5.
Do not care.
That seems insane.
That was that one. And then the last little one was PlayStation Plus loses a shitload of subs since its relaunch. I think, legitimately, because the games have not been great.
Yeah, and plus also you're going up against Xbox. You needed to come out the park swinging,
Yeah.
Hold on. So is this?
I don't think Xbox has come out incredibly strong, have they?
No, but like Xbox Game Pass. Sorry, comparing that system to
Xbox Live and Game Pass is now the same thing, whereas PlayStation Plus is the same. It's like your online play tied in with here's some games that we give you.
Right, but Sam's saying it's two sides of the same coin, where Microsoft is putting everything on Game Pass, but they don't have anything, and PlayStation Plus is not putting their good stuff on Game Pass. And both of them kind of end up being like we got really good indies.
Yeah.
And that's it. I think if they want those 2 million subs back, just say God of War Ragnarok is going to be there.
Literally, yeah. Not even that. At this point, it's been long enough to just say Horizon. Just put Horizon on it, the new one.
Put Horizon, yeah. Horizon, go on there.
Put it on the most expensive tier, like 15 quid a month. Play Horizon.
Yeah,
sure. I think even the tiers are.
It's confusing
and it's annoying as well. It's like, just have one tier.
Also, there is an unfortunate conversation I think that needs to be had of people right now, and it's been happening for a while, have to be even more like penny pinching.
We're on the brink of a recession.
Yeah.
We were saying this, I think, it was on either Will or Steve's stream. We're talking about how, unfortunately, in terms of recession and when economies get bad and stuff, subscription services and non-essential stuff are the first things to go. So
we would talk about Patreons, weren't we?
Yeah, when it's like food, heating, clothing, stuff like that. Unfortunately, Netflix is going to go first, or PlayStation Plus, whatever. But that's a whole other economy discussion.
We got 9 minutes left. Let's get into that. Let's get into the UK economy right now.
I do think that is playing a part, but that's a deep conversation to have.
But like I said, if you want to read these full articles, they will be in the description of the YouTube video on Tuesday. That's it for the week. Should we do some upcoming stuff, Steve?
Yeah, so today a bunch of stuff came out that is indie. I've limited it somewhat. So first of all, we've got Astro Colony, which looked a bit like Satisfactory or Factorio to me.
Okay.
I thought it's not my type of game, but I thought you guys generally like those sorts of build up factories, make them work.
I ain't got time for this anymore.
Is that a conveyor belt though? I love me some conveyor belts.
This is Satisfactory.
Yeah.
But it's like in space and stuff. Soulstone Survivors, which is a roguelike. It looks like Rick mentioned it in chat. It looks pretty in depth. Maybe it's kind of Binding of Isaac as well. Not really Binding of Isaac, but it looked pretty interesting. And then on the 8th tomorrow we have Sonic Frontiers.
Oh no.
Which apparently reviews are mixed to poor for this one.
Oh, I told everyone that it might be good though.
Yeah.
You did.
Why did I do that?
That was so funny.
Why did I do that?
Also, tomorrow is, you don't need to bring this up one, but it's Vermintide DLC that we'll get for free. And if you are watching live, today is the last day to claim Vermintide 2 for free on Steam. So just go to Steam, go to Vermintide 2, click claim game, and it's yours. And then you've got DLC for it tomorrow for free.
Yeah.
On the 9th, we have God of War Ragnarok on PS5 and PS4.
Oh, hell yeah. I cannot wait for that.
On the 10th, we have Paragon, the Overprime, which is Paragon's the game relaunching.
That's not real.
Oh, you weren't joking? That is actually coming back?
That's coming back.
It's not real. Release date coming soon.
No, but I googled it and it says the 10th. So,
don't believe
but yeah, this game is coming back. And then on the 11th, we've got 2 big Square Enix titles coming out, being Tactics Ogre Reborn, which is like the Final Fantasy Tactics style of game. They've been marketing this heavily.
Yeah.
And the other one is Valkyrie Elysium is also coming out that day as well. Which they haven't been marketing as heavily, but
all these games I just don't have time to play.
I'm not big into these ones, to be honest. So
I love like tactics games. So Tactics Ogre Reborn does look like it would be my sort of game, but I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
And it's also probably like a big budget Square Enix game, so it's probably going to be expensive.
God of War is the one that I'm looking at.
Yeah. And then the week, I can't wait for the week after though. We've got some big. We've got Pokemon.
Save it.
Warzone.
It's gonna be a good week that following week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So come back next week.
Come back every week forever. We'll be here. Why aren't you here? People listening. No, should we all wrap this up then, and we'll call it a night? I'm gonna have to actually edit the podcast now with that little bit at the end. That's the first time I have to actually.
It's fine. You don't start your 9 to 5 till next week. You got loads of time.
Yeah. All right. We'll call it there. Then. Thank you for listening, everybody. That's us done for the evening. So we're going to do our socials, and then we can get out of here. So, as always, my name is Josh. I go by BottlerWorks on everything: Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, bits and bobs like that. I do have, if you're into it, I've got a new hunt video coming out tomorrow on my main YouTube. So check that out. That'll be good. But yeah, what about you, Will?
Hello, my name is Will. You know where to find me. I don't have anything coming out, so
lazy bastards.
Sorry, everybody.
And Steve.
Hi, I'm Steve. You can find me at Quikwix everywhere. There's no C in my name.
And Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam, and you can't see me.
Da, 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 da. All right, thanks for listening, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
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 Bye.